Hello, my name is Daniel Francis, and this is my best friend, my girlfriend, and my co-host,
Katie Ludlow, and I am a Swiftie.
And I am not, and this is
Our Songs,
Our Films.
Each week we watch and rate a different Taylor Swift music video.
And try to objectively judge something that is inherently and deeply subjective.
Except for this week, we will be... we already watched.
We watched it last week.
And we will be rating today the Eras Tour.
I guess we'll be rating next week.
Half of the Eras Tour.
We're going to split this one into two parts. At least two parts. Probably two parts. But
2 parts.
It was 3 hours of amazing everything. It was phenomenal. Why don't we start off with our personal perception points? Just real quick.
I literally have not thought about it, but let me tell you, it's 100.
It's 100 out of 10?
Uh-huh.
I'll grant you like 11. I'll give it a full 10. As a reminder, personal perception is the score we give after our first watch through of a music video, but this time 3 hours of heaven. That reflects our gut reaction to the video before we get into the nitpicking. Now, I just want to say, this is going to be full of, spoilers. So if you're planning on going to the Eras Tour and you've gotten off of social media or whatnot, and just so you don't have any like spoilers for anything at all, maybe listen to this after you finish your concert.
After you go to the tour.
After you go to the concert.
Yeah. Before we get into things, I want to let you all know that we officially have a website.
Woo!
You can find links to all of our scores so far, as well as links to our social media pages, our email, and our podcast on all streaming platforms on there. So go check it out. The web address is kind of long because we are not paying for a domain name.
Yep. Maybe that'll change.
But it's oursongsourfilms.wixsite, wixsite.com/my-site. Or you can go to our social media pages, which is at OSOF Podcast on all social medias, and it'll be in our bio.
How do you want to start this?
Well, let's start by telling them about our trip, our going down to Vegas.
Yeah, so we live about, 9 hours away from Vegas?
I think closer to 8.
But so we packed everything up. I got off of I work Graves, so I got off work at 6 a.m., went home, and I volunteered to drive us through our canyon because it was snowy, and then
I was going to drive the rest of the way until right before the city because I'm afraid of city driving.
Las Vegas City.
Right. So I was going to pull off the freeway right before Vegas and have Daniel switch me. But then that way he could sleep while we drove.
And slept I did. But while we were driving, there was a bit of a rumbling at a specific speed, and if we switched gears, it went away. Well, that rumbling, it never stopped. And it was there when it was there, and then
I had to pee so bad.
Yeah.
It's okay, I didn't have to pee so bad, but I had to pee bad enough that it was in my mind, and I was like, I could stop in Cedar City, or I can keep going and try to make it to Vegas. I was like, I could make it. I don't have to pee that bad. But then I saw a sign that said rest stop ahead 1 mile, and I was like, you know what? The road's clear. I can change lanes super easy. I'm just gonna get off.
Yeah.
So I pulled off and went to the bathroom, and
so I woke up from my deep slumber as we were pulling off, and as we stopped, that rumbling came back.
But it was crazy loud.
Yeah, it was like shaking the whole car, kind of rumbling.
Yeah.
To me, it sounded like the engine was killing.
Yeah. Yeah. And Daniel shot up, and he was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "I don't know. Go back to sleep." Just. Went inside.
So we go to the bathroom and whatnot.
I was like tweeting. I was having the time of my life. I actually skipped back to the car because I was like, it's so nice outside. I'm having such a good time.
We're going to Taylor Swift.
I'm just like loving my life right now. And I get in the car and I put it in reverse and I pull out and it makes that sound again.
And it was even worse.
It was worse than before. And so
I freak out. I say, stop. And
you scared me. Your panic freaked me out. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, but
Well,
then
because
I was
the
like,
more that you move
oh,
your car,
shit.
the more you rev it, the more
Right.
it'll break it
Right.
with that kind of a
Right.
brake.
So I parked it. I turned the car off per Daniel's request.
and we still rolled forward.
Yeah, I
we
took
were in
my foot off the
park
brake
and we
and-
rolled forward.
Yeah.
It was a little terrifying.
So I
but,
put my parking brake on.
and then we searched around for a tow, and
Well, we got out of the car and Daniel
Oh.
found ball bearings on the ground, which
Yep.
I would have, if Daniel hadn't been there, I would have looked at those and gone, huh, these are weird. Wouldn't have ever put together that they were from my car.
yeah,
We got in the tow truck with...
we had a nice chat with Ray.
Ray was such a nice guy. I was so nervous because I'm afraid of manly men. And tow truck
And
drivers
Ray
are
was a
obviously
veteran.
manly men. Yeah, we get in the car. He's like, "Where are you guys headed?" And we were like, "Oh, we're going to Vegas for the Taylor Swift concert." And he goes, "Oh,
Back when I was in, I think, Iraq.
yeah,
Back in
yeah.
2006, that was all we listened to.
Yeah, they had rigged their wires in their headsets.
They were like in not a tank, but like a troop transport that was super armored.
40 tons is what he said.
40.
Which, for reference, he said that his tow truck was like
8
tons. So
with the wait, was
no,
it with
without
the,
my
without
car.
the load,
Without
Yeah.
my car. But anyway, he told us that they had rigged their
Their
headsets
iPod Nano
to an iPod Nano and listened to Taylor
they literally
Swift.
like cut open the wires and spliced an aux
Which
cord
is so funny
in.
to me. And it's also funny because that was Taylor's first album. It's so country. And I was like, you would listen to that.
Yeah, and yeah, it was insane.
And it's just funny to me to think about a bunch of really manly veterans
like going
listening.
through, because they were in the infantry. They were like up in people's business listening to Taylor Swift.
Listening to this little like 16-year-old girl singing about her high school crush. It's so funny to me. I'm not judging it all, but I think
No.
it's so funny.
Anyway, he was a good guy.
He drove us to Matt's Auto. It was a little bit scary when we got there.
Well, just because I had never been to an auto shop quite like this one.
No, me neither.
But their service was phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely. We judged a book by its cover.
Oh, definitely.
We were like,
We
we
were
looked
not-
at
we
each
were
other
not
and we were
being
like,
fair.
oh no. And we were not nice about it.
Well,
Not
we
to
were
them.
nice to them, but
We were nice
like,
to them. But
are
on
we-
our own, we were like, should we leave our stuff here? Like, is this safe?
But Matt and all of his
Yes.
his guys there, they were so nice and
were.
they're great. Anyways,
Yeah, they told us our CV axle had broken and on the front left tire.
I'm not a
and
car guy.
he said, I have a guy who has a part for it, so let me call him. It'll be done in like an hour. And while he was saying that, I remembered that I had a friend who lived in Cedar City, which is crazy that I remembered that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called him and I said, hey, Levi, this is so random, but I'm in Cedar City. My car broke down. Can you come pick us up and take us... Well, at that point, we thought that we were going to have to get a rental.
yeah.
So I said, and take us to get a
The
rental.
rental place.
And he was like, yeah, no problem. So he came over and Matt told us it'll take an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, Levi, how about we take you to dinner and we'll eat and then you can bring us back.
And we'll get in our car and go.
Right. And so we go to Chili's and
Chili's.
literally as our food gets sat on the table, I get a call from Matt and he says, turns out the part's not the right one. I can get the part in by 9 a.m. tomorrow, but that's the earliest I can do for you.
And we're like, well, we have to be in Vegas tonight.
Right. So he was like, okay, well, if you guys want to just come get your stuff, then we can figure it all out. So we hurry back because he literally was closing like right then.
Yeah.
So we rush back, get all our stuff out of the car, put it in Levi's car. Levi takes us to the airport, which is this little tiny
little regional airport.
and it has a car rental service. And we get there.
It has two of them.
It has two of them. And we get there and they're closed.
Both of them. And so we
But then we
went
saw
online.
that Enterprise was supposed to open at 6:30 because their openings were based on when
Like,
flights were coming in.
arrivals. Yeah.
And so they opened again at 6:30 that night, and it was almost 6.
It was almost 6. So we went online and
Reserved a
a
car.
car.
And then I went to the bathroom.
So she went to the bathroom, and then while you were in the bathroom, you sent me a text with circling a bit of the contract
Yeah.
or something saying this location doesn't do local pickups or something like that.
Yeah, you had to like go to another location.
And so I went to the guy and he said, "Oh yeah, if you need to do like on-site like rental, like you show up and rent a car,
Mm-hmm.
you have to do that at our main location in the middle of town."
Right.
And so I was like, "Okay, well, can we cancel that then?" And then I just walked 5 feet over to Avis, who was now at the desk, and said, "Hey, I'll take any car you have."
And they had a car.
They had a car.
It was
Brand new,
Brand new.
straight from Salt Lake City.
And
They like literally they didn't even have time to look inside to see if it was
Yeah.
clean yet.
I came out of the bathroom and Daniel goes, "We have a Jeep."
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Okay, it drives."
It drives.
We just got a car. It freaking will get us where we need to go.
Anywho,
it was
so it was nice. It was
Nice.
2023 Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah, we didn't find out it was 2023 till we were driving home, and I
Yeah.
said, "I wonder how much this car costs." And I pulled out
Remind me
the
how much
manual.
was it like 50 something, 60
50 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, so we get the car, we go, and we're on the road again, and our spirits are lifted.
The sunset on the way to Vegas was gorgeous, and I was like, honestly, maybe it was worth it.
Yeah.
We got to the hotel.
We got to the hotel. It
and
was great.
It was a nice hotel, like for the price that we paid.
Yeah,
it was
and it
really
was
nice.
just like a hop, skip, and a jump away from Allegiant.
It was so close. It was
stadium.
right on the strip. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was the Tropicana, if anyone was wondering. So it's definitely not the nicest, but it was nice.
It's like the budget casino.
Yeah.
You can still lose all your money at it, which we did the morning after. We set aside
yeah.
$50 from each of us
And
and
we
lost it in the most, I think,
Well,
the dumbest
we
way
were
possible.
so excited. We were like, let's go lose our money at the slot machines. And we go down and we do the first, like, I think I used $3.
Yeah.
And Daniel goes, "That's it? That's what we're losing our money to?"
Yeah.
You were so bugged by it.
I was bugged because it is so quick to lose your money to it.
It is.
It is so quick.
You can
like
lose
you just hit the
$50
button and
in
you
30 seconds.
Yeah, and then B, it's not flashy enough.
We
you
did
know?
play one that I really enjoyed. It was like a Farmville
Yeah.
slot machine. And
And
for some
that
reason,
one, that
I
one was the
really
only one
liked
who
it.
ever talked about like the money that you put in.
Yeah, everyone
in
else
actual
had
money.
credits.
Yeah,
Which was
credits.
for some reason so hard for us to comprehend. But then this one, you could change it so that it said
Money.
dollars.
Like, well, cents.
So you could see exactly how much you were spending
Yeah.
each time,
which was
nice.
a lot easier for us. But then there's all these weird rules, and that's I mean, that's the point of it,
we
right?
spent like 7 minutes reading the rules of this game.
Yeah, and
But I loved that one. I had so much fun at it. And the whole time Daniel was like, "Are you kidding?" And then he goes, "Do I have to lose this money?" And I was like, "Yes, that was like the one rule coming in here." And so we go over to like this random slot machine and he just like bids it all. Just like one spin.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, stupid."
I wasn't such of a sourpuss, but
No, he wasn't. But it was just funny.
I was tired of it at the end.
We were maybe there for an hour tops.
I don't think it was an hour.
No.
I think it was less than an hour.
Well, an hour plus getting food. I mean, not plus, like including
Okay.
getting our food because we got breakfast.
Yeah.
So we went to the casino in the morning, and then in the afternoon we went to Omega Mart.
Which was my suggestion, and I am so happy that we
Really
did.
fun. It was really fun.
If you haven't heard of Omega Mart, it's a so you step in and it looks like you just step into this small like little mart called Omega Mart, and on there's stock on the shelves that you can buy much of it, but there are aerosol can sprays of who told you this was butter?
I got the who no, what is it? What's the real? I can't believe it's not butter. Those spoofs were for some reason my favorite. I
Yeah.
laughed at every single one. I wish I had got more pictures of them. There were so many. Who told you this was butter? And then the other one was what is the essence of butter?
Yeah, what is the essence of butter and whatever not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's just the front of it, and there are some like weird parts of it that are like melting and whatnot, like, oh, we'll clean up on aisle 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
and
And it's like kind of alien and weird.
And if there are a whole bunch of entrances to behind Omega Mart. So like you could go through the butcher's like back door, open up one of the freezers and walk through a surprisingly deep like freezer tunnel or something like that, and all of these different options to get you back into the rest of Omega Mart, which is crazy.
Huge.
It's huge.
We were there for like what, 3.5 hours?
Probably. I don't know.
It was insane, and like we barely explored everything. And you basically go through, there's all these like really psychedelic rooms that are like
just so weird.
It's kind of like, it reminded me of like a bunch of art exhibits that are like immersive.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
think
very
that's
psychedelic.
a good way of describing most of Omega Mart is immersive art.
Yeah.
Like, because there is a story that encompasses all of it. And
and we didn't get very far
it's
into
called, I think there's like this overarching corporation called Dram Corp, DRAM.
Yeah, they
Corp,
have like some source that's like
that
an
is able
energy.
to create stuff.
Yeah, and the CEO has like trained his daughter to take his place, and then she like
betrays him or something like that.
And anyway, we didn't get super far into the story.
We watched a video, didn't we?
I didn't pay much attention to it because I was still really focused on the Taylor Swift concert. We watched it after the concert.
Yeah.
So we went back to the hotel, we got ready for the concert, had a little nap, and then we walked to Allegiant.
This was like a nice preamble to the rest of the concert.
It was really funny to me because it had been explained to me by my brothers. They had been to like football games at Allegiant, and they explained to me this apocalyptic view, and I was like,
of just everyone.
Yeah.
Like, there's just,
they said you round the corner and it's like thousands of people, like just like they closed the freeway, so you're walking on the freeway and it's wall to wall people on this freeway, and just like
everyone's walking towards the stadium,
and they explained it to me, and I was like, that's pretty crazy,
but like you couldn't possibly imagine what it looks like.
When you see it, like you go past like the trucks where they have like the cutoff, the freeway is closed here, and they're really tall trucks, so you can't see, and as soon as you pass, you're like, oh my God.
Because I thought that there was a lot of people right there. Like, oh, a lot of people are crossing the road. I wonder how they're dealing with this. And you cross those trucks and you're like, oh, a lot of people are the road.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was crazy, but it was fun.
And it was great because you knew that everyone there around you was thinking about one thing.
Taylor.
Yeah. And so
and I felt safe. It wasn't like normally when I'm in a crowd and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get pickpocketed. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get murdered, or like not murdered, but like kidnapped or something. Mugged. I was like, these are my people.
Yeah. And of course there were the damnation and hellfire preachers who had their signs and megaphones.
I forgot about them.
Yeah,
it was really funny.
They were saying like, "Oh, you're spending thousands of dollars to go see an idol. You're all going to hell."
That one was really funny. He was like the first one, and he's talking about like true followers of God are poor and humble, and you all are not that. And there was this girl in front of us, and we made eye contact, and we both just like jaws dropped and went ah. Anyway, so we go through this apocalyptic
event
crowd.
and so we're in line to have our tickets scanned, and I turn to Katie and I say, I hope those tickets work, or something like that.
He was like, now's the time to see if those tickets are real. And I like, it hadn't even occurred to me that they could possibly not be real, and my heart dropped to my asshole. I was like, don't say that to me. Anyway, they worked. It was fine. They worked,
and then they handed us nothing. Then they handed us this bracelet that had like 2 LEDs in it, and they said, just put this on and wear it for the show.
Yeah, they
and I still have yet to learn how that works.
They use them for like light shows in the audience. It's super cool.
It's great.
Taylor does it at a lot of her concerts, but
I want to find out how it works, because they didn't like assign anything to us. They didn't like, oh, this is their seat, so this you get
it was
this
just
one.
Like some random guy just like handing them out to anyone who walked past him. Anyway, we got in line for merch because I wanted to see what merch there was, and then I saw the merch and I said, I don't want any of that. Daniel was like, I want that.
Well, we were already in line, and so I was like, oh,
we had been in line for a while, and not long enough that I was like, oh, this is taking forever, but long enough that I was like, I'm embarrassed to get out of this line.
Yeah.
So Daniel got like a blue tie-dye tank that they had.
Mm-hmm. And it looks nice, and
He looks good in it too.
I asked for an extra large, and I didn't realize until we were nearly in our seats that they gave me a 3 extra large.
When you held it up to yourself,
It was big.
it was really big.
And
But
I thought-
I didn't hear what size you had asked for, and so I thought maybe he purposefully got it really big.
Well,
And so you said, "Does it look good?" And I went, "Yeah," because I didn't want to be like, "No, get a smaller one," because I thought you had made that decision.
oh.
And
Well, I got an extra large, and I thought they were handing me an extra large, and I thought that it was just like, oh, it's supposed to be baggy, and
Yeah.
so I didn't look at it.
No.
And so
so we went
so
to
we
a
go
bathroom.
and try turning. I put it on, and I'm like, this is not just huge. This is like
It was drowning. So I checked the size. Yeah, it's a 3XL. So we went back to another merch line, which
We had
was
to stay for like another
huge.
like at least 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that merch line. I swear we were in that line for like 40 minutes.
I don't think
That
it was
second
40
one,
minutes.
it felt forever. Maybe it's because we had already done it once, and so I was like, "This is taking forever."
I think that if we were we had passed 3 merch stands, the one outside, the one right inside the doors, and then the one on the third floor
Mm-hmm.
or second floor. That if we had been on that first, the second one, that would have taken.
Yeah,
an
it
hour.
was like the whole floor.
It was
I
the whole
swear,
floor was a line, I
a
swear.
line. Yeah, everywhere you went, you were like, "Are you in line for the bathroom?" "No, we're in line for merch." And I was like, "What the freak?"
Go outside.
Yeah, the line outside was so short. But anyway,
Compared,
we got his shirt switched, and then we went to get food.
And I have this thing for like the big pretzels, you know, like the ones you get at movie theaters.
And I had seen on the Allegiance website that they had pretzels, and
For
so
$3.
So I had looked at the app, I had seen what restaurants had pretzels, and we went to one of the places and they didn't have pretzels.
They didn't.
None of them did. And so we ended up just stopping at the restaurant we were at.
Yeah.
And
We were in line for a little while.
Yeah, and I was desperate for water. I was like, if I don't have water right now, I will die.
Because they don't let people with water in.
Yeah, and so or water bottles.
Or water bottles.
Like, it's not like the airport where you can like dump out your water and then
go through security and then fill it out. Yeah.
They're like, no water bottles.
Which is obnoxious because they want to make their own money off of way overpriced
Yeah, so I
water
spent
bottles.
$14 on water.
On 2 water bottles.
Yeah, which honestly saved me.
Yeah.
But we got our food, and as we're walking into the stadium, everyone starts screaming, and I could feel myself start shaking. Like I got like lightheaded, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I didn't even know what was happening, but I was like, "They're screaming! Something's happening!" Because the 2 openers had already gone, so I knew it had to be Taylor. And
So we're walking up the stairs to our seats.
And there's a clock on the
backboard
on the screen.
On the screen.
It's counting down. But it was like 40 seconds. And so we literally got in our seats
As it was hitting.
it hit like 1.
And I took the food out of her hands and I said, "Record it."
And I felt so bad because we walked in front of so many people that were recording, but I was like, I have to get to my seat. And the second I got to that seat, I like pulled my phone out and I was shaking so bad that I felt like I couldn't even get a video, and I already was like crying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I felt like I was gonna pass out for the whole first like 30 minutes of that concert. Anyway.
How did she start it?
Well, first of all, this dancer with a...
Oh yeah, that's right. So the
I
back,
don't even remember.
the
You
back
have to
wall,
go through these ones because I don't remember much of it.
Okay. So the back wall. Let me describe the stage to you. Out in the stands, there are 2 huge screens that are good for people to see it. But the actual stage, there's this huge back wall, like at least 30 feet tall. All LEDs, and then a whole bunch of like lights and LED strips and other kind of special effects on the top of it. And then in the middle of it, there's a panel about maybe 20 feet wide, 15 feet tall, or I don't know.
Yeah.
That is able to rise like a garage door. And so that rises, and this dancer starts walking out forwards with it looks like this huge like it looked like a clamshell.
It did. It was like a peacock tail. A
Yeah.
giant material, like pink peacock tail.
And so it's bent forward, and they step out, and they get
And
through
then
the garage door, and they go up.
Yeah.
And it's huge.
Yeah.
And so I think everyone thought that was
That
Taylor.
was Taylor. And so everyone's screaming, and I was shaking so bad. I was literally gonna throw up. But yeah, so you could hear her. She's singing what is it?
It's
been a long time coming. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but it's that part of
Miss Americana.
Miss Americana, but it was, like extended, sung
Because
over
it's
and
like
over.
super
and-
crazy. And,
Right. And so I was losing my mind.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I thought I could not figure out where Taylor was, because a couple of those dancers come through
Mm-hmm.
and then Taylor starts singing, and the screen like across from us above like the stands shows Taylor, and I was too embarrassed to say, where is she? And so I'm filming just like nothing, and I'm like, I can't figure out where she is. I actually thought, oh, she's back behind that giant LED screen on the back of the stage, and at any second they're gonna like bring her
Reveal
out
her.
and reveal her. And then I was like, why would she be singing back there? No, it turns out we were sitting at just the right angle. There was this great big light post that was right in front of us, so we couldn't see.
And it covered right of the center of the center stage. So there's the huge back wall and kind of a stage in front of that, and then this
catwalk.
runway,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
catwalk of sort, and it leads down quite a ways, like maybe 50 feet or so,
to like about half field.
to about half field, and then there's this huge. Like a square that's turned 45 degrees.
Yeah.
And
right
so-
in the center of that stage is like this mechanism where they can make levels and make it look like they're standing on like boxes or
Steps or something, yeah.
something. And so they would raise and lower.
But this light tree, the huge thing, is perfectly positioned
Yeah.
right in front of our seats to block all of that.
Right. Which honestly I didn't mind, because it was such a sliver of space that we couldn't
Oh,
see.
but that was the most important part
It was
of the
the
stage.
one part of the stage that we probably should have seen, but I didn't mind because you could always see on the screen what was
Yeah.
happening, so it didn't bother me. But that first, like, it took me probably like 2 minutes to figure out where she was. I was like, where? And I think I didn't figure it out until she came back onto the catwalk.
Yeah.
And was walking back to that like top part of the stage, and I was like, oh. There she
Anywho,
is.
so she's beautiful.
and we start with the Lover era.
The Lover era.
But yeah, so she sings Miss Americana, which I think is so appropriate because that's the title of her documentary. She is Miss Americana.
So there was this moment that I really liked
Okay.
in Miss Americana that I think it was Miss Americana. Taylor walks down the center, the catwalk, the runway, and with all of her backup singers to the side of her, and it looks like a spring break girl shot, like her and her gals next to her. The singer to her left, the song ended, everyone was cheering, and they didn't have their microphones on, and she's kind of like is baffled and turns to Taylor, who's next to her, and says, what I can only imagine is, holy shit. Because of how loud and
We went nuts.
we went nuts, and they had to like stop for like 15 seconds or so.
It was wild. I forgot that happened.
I think Taylor was like, she was nodding like a knowing,
like, oh yeah.
which, I mean, I wonder what Glendale, Arizona was like for them, because this was not their first concert. But if they
Vegas
were like
must have just
freaking out,
been-
Vegas must have been something else.
Oh yeah. And then she sings Cruel Summer, which this is the first song that I remember. Like, I remember the It's Been a Long Time Coming, that whole thing that she did before.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that song. I like blacked out. I don't remember Cruel Summer until shortly before the bridge. I had the thought, your favorite part of the song is coming up and you have to scream it. And so I screamed it, and the sound that came out of my mouth was like, I literally was like, who is that? But it was the part where she goes, he looks up, grinning like a devil, and I just was like, he looks up.
Do you have that on a recording?
No, I
No.
don't. I wish I did because I sounded so weird. I have to walk you through what happens here. I know you were there for it.
I was there.
But
Well,
I need to walk you guys
walk
through
me through
this.
it, yeah.
This was honestly like the most dramatic part of the whole concert for
this
me.
is one of your favorite songs,
This is-
isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So so Taylor stops after Cruel Summer and she says, "Vegas, you guys are making me feel so powerful." And immediately I knew what was coming. I knew the song that was coming, and I was shaking and I was bawling and my stomach was doing flips, and I was like, I'm gonna pass out right here. Someone brings out a silver blazer to put on Taylor, and it's just confirmed for me. I know what's coming. And I grabbed Daniel's neck and I felt like I was gonna kill him. I was like squeezing you so hard, and I wish I had a recording of this. I'm going, no.
Why? No. Wouldn't it be nice that she's singing your
Because
favorite song?
I knew I could. Well, okay, before the concert, I made a list of songs. It's titled "Songs I'm Afraid for at Tour because I don't know how I'll react." The Man was one of them.
Yeah.
And I knew that was what was coming, and I was so scared of what I was gonna react like. Anyway, she puts on the
Now
silver
you know
blazer.
How you will react.
I was scared. She puts on the silver blazer and she says, "You guys are making me feel so confident." She takes the mic and says, "I think what I'm trying to say is you guys make me feel like I'm the man." And I literally collapsed. Like, I just doubled over and I was, no!
It was funny.
I was like shaking, sobbing the entire song.
Now, we made a bet.
Oh my god, we made a bet.
We made a bet before-
Well, they know the bet. It was on the podcast.
Was it on the podcast?
The bet that I would not cry unless Long Live was played.
Okay.
But I lost it before she even came
Before she even
out.
came out. You lost it before the concert even started.
Oh yeah, when we were at the hotel, Daniel was like, "You're gonna see Taylor Swift," and I cried.
I definitely won that bet.
No, yeah, so I owe you. But yeah, anyway, so she sang The Man, and The Man, for those of you who don't know, The Man is my number 2 most played song on Spotify ever, of all time. And I've had my Spotify account since 2017, so
That's 8 years?
it's been a minute.
4 years?
Wow, Daniel. 6?
6 years. Hey,
Hey,
yeah, I'm tired.
I know. But
What I think was special about this song, The Man, is that this is the first time that we've got like a set piece for one of her songs.
yeah. They brought out
like a. It was like a multi-story. It looked like scaffolding to a certain degree, but it was supposed to be like an office building. And
it was the first time that we saw the use of the LED screen on the stage.
well, we'd
The
seen that
floor. Well, yeah.
Before. Oh, but like as part of like.
We saw there was like an elevator with was it her or just someone with someone in it. And from the bottom of the stage up, the elevator was moving up, and that was the first time I clocked it, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, and so that's something I didn't mention before. The entire stage, the floor, the back wall, everything was covered with LEDs, and so everything was just a screen that they could project designs out of.
It was really cool.
It was really cool. Anyway, The Man was great, and
The Man was amazing. And then immediately following, she went straight into "You Need to Calm Down."
which is the hoodie that I was wearing.
Yes, it was. And even though it was really hot, so we took our hoodies off almost immediately. But she's saying we need to calm down, and it was really cool because this was kind of the first time that we saw really kind of like what the lights on our wrists were for. I mean, like, they'd been flashing and
They've
whatever.
been flashing and whatnot.
But now, along with the music, they would flash in sections, like, a different color to make a rainbow.
It would be a wave.
Yeah.
It would go from right to
It was
left.
really
make a
cool. It
rainbow.
was so fun. And I
'Cause you
tried to
need
get a
calm
video of
down.
it, but
I haven't
it
actually
didn't
really
work.
listened to the song, but I hear that it's
it's a gay song. It's like
an ally song.
it's an ally song. And I sang along to that one. I remember that. Mm-hmm. This is where my memories start coming back.
Your memories start coming back. You didn't black out.
I didn't black out.
Then after that was Lover, and she starts
Lover.
that one off with like, I'm just gonna sing a good old love song.
Yeah. Oh, and I think this is where she told us that she was going to take us through the eras.
Oh yeah.
We were going to go one era at a time. So this was the first, because I avoided all spoilers. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know what was coming.
She only wanted to know if All Too Well was going to be sung, and
If it would be the 10-minute version
if it'd be
or
the
not.
10-minute version or Long
Live.
Yeah.
So I made him check those, but I didn't know.
Did you ask if You're on Your Own
anything
Kid
else.
is going to be played?
I did not.
Okay.
And so I waited the whole concert for it.
That's a shame.
Anyway, she told us we were going to go through the eras. And so I
One at a
finally
time.
knew what to expect. And I was really excited. And then as Lover started the song, was it a set piece or was it on the screen, the Lover house? I think it was the
It was on
screen.
the screen,
The
yeah.
Lover house, which you haven't seen this music video, but for those who have, there is a house in that each room is a different color to represent her different eras, her different albums. And so that house appeared and it was really fun. And the dancing in that one was really fun. They had a bunch of different couples dancing. And then she sang The Archer, and
There were arrows everywhere.
the only memory I
on the
have of that
screens.
one is Daniel went, "There's arrows on the ground," and I went, "The song's called The Archer,"
I was
and
like,
he went, "Oh," and that's all I remember.
Yeah, I
of
mean,
that
sometimes
song.
it's a little difficult to hear the words in a
No,
stadium.
yeah, and you don't know the songs.
I don't know the songs.
Yeah, it was hard to hear words, but anyway. And then she went off stage, and the back of the stage, like right in front of the LEDs, just like
Erupted
a
in
waterfall of sparks, which was
Yeah.
so cool.
The whole thing, like, this is like, how wide is a football field?
Yeah, the whole width of the football field
Yeah.
was like waterfall of sparks,
Yeah.
which was so cool. And
And then the rest of the LEDs start showing off like golden sparks on nearly everything.
Yeah,
and then our wristbands are all golden sparks, and we're like, and did you guess at this point what it was? I guess.
I don't remember, because I think I thought it was Speak Now for a second, because she has a song on there called Sparks Fly. But then, no, it was when the floor started flashing her guitar. I can't remember if it was the silver or the gold guitar. But I was like, it's Fearless.
Yeah. And then
And she came out. And
she comes
sang
out in
that.
this beautiful dress.
Yeah, and it was very similar to what she wore on the Fearless tour.
Yeah.
Her little flapper dress era.
And she sings Fearless.
She sang Fearless. It was short, but it was Fearless. And I do know why, but like, I didn't expect myself to go nuts over that one the way I did. I was like, just bawling. And I think part of that was like, this is an era that I never thought I would get to experience, because it was before
So
my
long ago,
time.
yeah.
It was 2009. I wasn't a Swiftie until 2012. And so I just assumed I would never experience that live.
Yeah.
And then here we were. And then at the end of Fearless, she put her hands up in her little heart
Like
thing,
she did back
like
then,
she did
right?
back then. And oh my gosh, I started just like crying. I could not. Yes, she sang that. Then she sang You Belong With Me, which was so fun, a classic. And then she sang Love Story. And I don't remember how you reacted. I just remember I laughed.
No, if you're listening to this episode, you've probably listened to our earlier episode where I gave a very poor review of Love Story. And I'm not going to say that it changed my mind on the song, but I did enjoy it.
You did say after the concert, you said being in a crowd of that many people
Who love this song.
was very moving.
It was moving.
And it, oh my gosh, it was like life-changing to scream that bridge along with 60,000 other Swifties.
Yeah.
Like, wow. amazing.
It was something special, and I'm not gonna fight that. But
No, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, I don't remember the transition.
Well.
Oh yeah. She left, and then the stage
between every era, she leaves to have a huge costume change.
Yeah, and so there would be like instrumental music and
her voice echoing over everything.
Yeah, something going on
to keep us entertained for a couple minutes while she changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
And I think a couple times during those, Daniel would go, "Costume change." It was funny.
I mean, it's always exciting to see what she comes out next.
Oh, I know. It was just funny. But as we were waiting for this one, the floor starts growing.
The stage
trees
nearby the back wall. The panels open up, and what looks like a little bush pops out.
Yeah.
And then a part pokes out of the middle up to the top, and all of them. There's like, I don't know, what is it, 12 or maybe 8 of them?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was honestly magical.
It was really cool.
And the guy sitting next to me, he was so fun to sit next to. He was so into it.
He was so into it, but he could not sing.
He could not sing. He's in some of my videos, and it makes me laugh. But he would get into it, and I wish I could show you guys what his face was doing. But anyway, as these trees were growing, he was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what is it?"
I guess maybe that was his favorite album.
He just kept saying, like, it wasn't monotone, but it felt monotone. He would go, "Oh my god, oh my god."
That's what he thought about you. No.
I know. It was so funny to me. And him and his friend, their little discourse about what was coming next was so fun. And I loved it because, like, I could talk to you about things, but you can't, like, go back and forth with me because you don't know Taylor's repertoire.
Yeah.
And so it was fun to listen to what they said every time because it was like two Swifties having a conversation about what they thought was next. Mm-hmm. And so I would just like, listen in. But anyway, they were like, "It's folklore. No, it's Evermore. No. And they were like fighting about what it was. It was cute.
But it did end up being
Evermore.
Mm-hmm. Evermore.
Yeah, and so she came out, I don't remember 'Tis the Damn Season very much, but she came out in like an orange-ish, like a burnt orange dress.
I like 'Tis the Damn Season. Is there a music video for that?
There's not.
Okay, well then I'm gonna go listen to it on my own then.
Yeah, it's a good one. I feel like you would like a lot of Evermore. There's only one music video from that.
I have enjoyed a lot of Evermore. I've also enjoyed a lot of Folklore.
Evermore is my favorite album.
Really? Mm-hmm. Really?
Oh yeah. Like there's songs from every album that I'm like, oh that one. And I used to say Reputation was my favorite forever. But I've recently realized that I like Evermore much more. And it was always up there, but
yeah.
I listen to Evermore a lot more.
Okay. So she sings 'Tis the Damn Season in 2 sentences. What's that song about?
Oh, it's about going home for the holiday season, mm-hmm. like to your hometown, and hooking up with someone that you basically hook up with every year. Okay. It's like it's the damn season. Let's just do it, you know.
Okay.
But it's that sounds like kind of like a hardcore topic, but it's such a mellow song. Yeah. Is kind of a fun. Anyway.
It's a good vibe.
And then
Willow. So the back wall for this era
mm-hmm.
is basically a forest. Is Willow when it turns winter?
No.
That's Marjorie.
Willow is when I believe the camera kind of pans down and we're like underneath the root system of the big tree that's on the screen, and it looks like we're in a little home underneath this tree.
Oh, I think that it just turns dark and there's like maybe it's a root system.
There was kind of like,
imagine sort of like get off the road in Lord of the Rings, and they all hop off the road and hide underneath the roots.
Yeah, like that. And
if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Leading up to that's later.
That's later.
I'm totally lying to
you.
Okay. Anyway, a whole bunch of dancers come out. They're all in like cloaks.
That's
hooded
Willow.
Cloaks.
Okay. This is the memorable part.
They have like these little orange orbs. Daniel said they looked like
crystal balls.
Crystal balls. I thought they looked like
fireballs.
And they do Willow, and it was very witchy and very fun. Mm-hmm.
And she had her own dark
cloak.
green cloak.
Oh yeah, hers was green,
Yeah.
and it was really pretty. It was a fun number.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean,
I've never I mean, I understand, but I've never felt like the witch vibe matched Willow. But I liked that she went that direction with it.
Is it like a common direction for that song?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
Yeah. And then she
after
sang
that,
Marjorie, part of Marjorie, and when she started it, I was like, really? Of all the songs? But looking back, I was like, that is so sweet. Like, she wrote this song as a tribute for her grandma.
has she passed?
Her grandma has passed.
Okay.
And I was like, how appropriate for her to like be singing. And her grandma was an opera singer. And Marjorie's a fun song because in the background, you can actually hear her grandma singing. She took some recordings of her grandma's opera and put them in. I did note this while she was singing. She glowed. Taylor did.
Yeah.
You could tell that she was just like on this high, and that I was just like, she is so happy. She's like just at peace right now, and I loved it. I loved seeing that joy in her face.
Yeah. And then after that was Champagne Problems.
Yeah, she went to the piano. It was a very like mossy piano, similar
surprisingly mossy.
It was,
like this was like
if you've seen
overgrown.
If you've seen the Folklore music video, it was that piano.
Oh, okay. Because
the Cardigan music video. I don't know why I said Folklore.
Yeah, the music video.
The
for
only
the
one from
entire
Folklore.
Album. This piano was really cool, and I wonder if it is actually a functioning like baby grand piano, or if it's got like an electric keyboard inside it.
I see.
And that the rest of it is just decoration.
I don't know. But I was like leading up to the song, she did her classic like sit at the piano and play for like 2 minutes while she talks. Mm-hmm. Oh, and this was the point where the crowd went wild, and she had to stop for like a solid minute and a half because the crowd would not stop screaming. Yeah. And she was so cute about it. She just kept being like, oh my gosh. Oh, and her face was so shocked the whole time. But I could not figure out what song it was. I don't know how, because Champagne Problems is one of my favorites.
I liked it.
Totally forgot that song existed. So Daniel was like, what song do you think it's going to be? Because he would ask me throughout the concert, what song's coming next? What do you think this is? And so he's like, what song do you think this is? And I was like, I have no idea. I could not think of a single song that was piano based from Evermore. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe she's going to sing Cardigan. Maybe she's moving to Folklore. I could not figure it out. And then she started Champagne Problems, and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. and she said before this one, she had been dreaming ever since she wrote it to perform it and to have thousands of Swifties sing along to it. Mm-hmm. And it was so fun to sing along.
After the song, she stands up from the piano and calls over her new band member. Mm-hmm. I just looked up her name. So she has a new pianist, and her name, the pianist's name, Karina De Piano.
You're kidding.
Kidding.
That's really funny.
She
was beautiful.
She's beautiful, and she's great. She was a fantastic pianist.
Oh yeah, she came out. She played kind of a little interlude while a giant
long table.
Yeah, like what you'd see in like
the royal
dining hall, similar to that. It came out, and Taylor sets two places. She sets 2 places. She'd pull it out from the middle of the table, and she went to one end, sat a place, and then went to the other end, sat a place, and then it made it really nice. Put some roses in the middle, and then
one of the dancers comes out.
Yeah, which he looked really familiar. I don't know what I recognize him from. I laughed though because the whole time this song was happening, Daniel was trying to take a picture of the big screen to get a picture of this man's face.
Yep.
And Taylor gets up on the table, crawls across.
It was so just like like an oil painting.
Oh, it was. It was
when she initially gets on the table,
done.
she is reaching and yearning for him, and
I was a little bit nervous when she started to climb up. I was like, this is gonna be so tacky. I almost said to you, she's having her Alice Beinecke moment.
Oh yeah.
And then I was
this
like,
is from the Addams Family musical.
but it was so well done. She climbs on the table. She like crawls across. When she gets to the roses in the middle, she throws them. She like just knocks them off. Like she's angry, and then she crawls across. And I loved it. It was so tastefully done because the song, it's called "Tolerate It," and it's about how she knows that her love should be appreciated and that she should feel love back. He just tolerates it.
Tolerates her love.
Tolerates her love. And I loved the way that they did this. He like was like looking straight through her.
Well, like as if she was still on the other side of the table.
Yep.
And
And
he was just eating dinner like
yeah.
normal.
I think at one point, I'm not entirely sure. I think at one point she like touches him and he like moves her hand. But it was funny because after the song, Daniel goes, "Where'd the roses go?"
And
I
missed it.
I was like, she threw them. She did. Yeah.
I was-
You were taking a picture of that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was Evermore, and then she leaves,
She leaves.
and that was the end. Goodbye, everyone.
No, it wasn't.
No, I would be so sad if that was the end.
So after Tolerate It, she leaves for a little bit, and then No. Oh, so the stage goes dark, and we start seeing scales.
Oh
And
my god.
I don't know, like the little
Yeah,
rattlesnake
and
things.
there's a I've watched this video so many
Oh, yeah?
times. And I knew what was coming, and Reputation was my favorite album for the longest time, and I would go batshit for it. And so and I had another list before the concert that was songs I will go batshit for.
Oh yeah.
And on it was Ready for It, which I knew that was how she would start Reputation, because that's how she started the Reputation tour.
Yeah.
I think.
Are you crying
I think-
right now?
No. I think that's when I turned to you and I said, I'm gonna throw up. Because Reputation was about to start.
Yeah.
And I was so ready for it.
Well, and this whole this whole concert, before we sat down, Katie turned to me and said, "I need you to make sure that I'm drinking water."
Well, before we went, I was like, I need you to make sure that I buy water, because I will see those prices and I will not buy it. But I need water.
I need water.
And then when we sat down, I said, I need you to make sure I drink water, because
I'm not going to.
I'm not
think
going
about it.
to. And so every once in a while, he'd just hand me the water and I'd drink it and shove it back in his face.
Yeah.
Like, take this.
or I'd hand her uneaten like chicken tenders.
He'd just like put a fry in front of my face and I'd eat it. Anyway.
Anyways, so I'm like, oh shoot, do you need food? You're gonna throw up, or I don't know.
like,
Do you need sugar?
No, I was just gonna throw up because I was just like
So
nervous, excited, anxious for it. But then I was waiting for the if you've seen the Reputation tour recording, it does the "Baby, let the games begin," and then it's quiet, and then again, "Baby, let the games begin." And so I was waiting for that because I thought she'll
That's how she
obviously
would
do
do
that. But it just started with, "Are you ready for it?" And I was like, oh my god.
It just went right into it.
I felt silly crying because I was like, this is not the song to cry through. Like, everyone else is like partying and I'm like Anyway, it was an experience I never thought I'd get to have, that ready for it moment. And then she sang Delicate, which was so fun, so good.
Is that the one where the stage cracked? I think it was Delicate.
I think it must have been Delicate.
Okay, so the stage, I said before, is all LEDs. She's walking around a huge circle in the center stage, and occasionally she stops and will like do a hop or like a big stomp or something, and it's timed that and she knows exactly where to be, that the LEDs show a huge crack in the stage that goes to the center of it all, and then she walks around and gets to another spot, does a stomp and cracks and so she finishes like 2 verses and then eventually walks right to the center where all the cracks are meeting, and then at the bass drop she does like a huge jump and the whole thing splinters, and it was really cool. I thought it was a really great use of all of that money.
It was really good. I also have to comment on, there is a tradition where Taylor sings the intro to the song and then the whole crowd goes 1, 2, 3, let's go, bitch. And I have dreamt of doing that
Yeah.
for years, and it was so exhilarating to just scream my guts out of that.
Is that not in the song?
It's not in the song. But yeah, Delicate was really good.
It was fun. It was great. And then Don't Blame Me.
When she started this one, I threw my phone at Daniel and I said, record this.
Now, remind me what this one was. Don't Blame Me. That's is that the one with all the other Taylors in it?
No, that's Look What You Made Me Do. Don't Blame Me is the one that has like the lights. Okay, so all around really the stage,
that was really cool.
All around the stage there were spotlights. Like literally lining the stage. And so she does the every time you're loving me, and then it goes quiet for just a second, and it doesn't get dark, but it dims just a tad, and then every single spotlight lining the stage just shoots up
in a blinding white light, just a beam.
And so the whole stadium is like lit. And it's when it does the, oh Lord save me, my drug is my baby, I'll be using it for the rest of my life. And then she does her classic belting it out.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was powerful.
Around the stage, like the LEDs through that song are showing like candles and stuff, which I thought was super cool and like moody and dark, which I loved. And then while I'm thinking about it, we didn't talk about Taylor's outfit for Reputation.
Oh yeah. So she comes out in this bodysuit. It's very reminiscent of her original Reputation outfit, right?
Not at all.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I'm wrong.
I don't think so. Maybe you could make that argument,
well,
but
it's got one sleeve. It doesn't have the other sleeve. And...
Okay, yeah. So it's like a bodysuit except for one leg and one sleeve are cut off. So I guess in that way it is similar because
it's very similar to the other Reputation outfit.
Okay. I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, no. But it's black and it's got red snakes on it, which I loved the red snakes because
it looked like they had rubies on it.
Yeah, it was super cool. Anyway, when she sang that really big belty part, that was why I made you record. And everyone around us, everyone's screaming that part. And the audience, this is going to sound so nitpicky, and I'm not nitpicking. I'm just stating this. The audience was sharp. And so when she sang it, I thought that she was sharp. And so I was like, that was so disappointing. She didn't hit it.
Yeah.
And I was really bummed. And I turned to Daniel and I said, it was good, but I wanted you to record it because I was ready to like be mind blown.
Yeah.
Listening back to it, she was right on the money. And it's everyone else.
Wow, okay.
So she did nothing wrong. She is a powerhouse. And anyway, she's amazing. I should have never doubted her.
I mean, you can doubt her. You've shown me videos of her singing incredibly flat.
No, yeah, she sometimes is not always right on the money, but she did not miss a single time during this concert. 3 hours, and she was perfect.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with that part.
That's impressive endurance. That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, she hit that. And then I was so grateful too because she went right into Look What You Made Me Do, and I never turned to Daniel and said stop recording. Mm-hmm. Not because I meant to, but because I didn't realize you were still recording.
Well, I mean,
until the song was almost over, and then I was like, I didn't mean for you to record this song. And
I was not upset by that.
And you were like, oh, it's fine. But I was so glad because this was like amazing. This song, the imagery was so good. Mm-hmm. So basically what happened was,
I think it's one of the more inspired renditions of a song at this concert. And I haven't seen the music video, and I think I've heard that it's similar.
Just the end part.
Oh, just the end part. Okay, so basically, Taylor is out, singing her song, mm-hmm. and at the back of the stage, on the back wall, mm-hmm. Are a whole bunch, like a whole bunch,
on the screen. On the screen,
mm-hmm. but also in real life.
Right.
Are a whole bunch of white box frames, essentially, people height,
Yeah.
with people in them.
Yeah.
And they're all in different outfits, and they're all the different dancers.
On the screen, they're all Taylor, and they're all of her different outfits for all the eras.
And then also...
On the stage, it was... Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Well, it was a lot more than 10 eras.
Well, just like the classic looks from all the eras. It wasn't like 10 exactly, but it was like all the classics.
Gotcha.
And then on the stage, there were boxes of all her dancers, and each dancer was in a costume that is a classic Taylor Swift costume.
Yeah.
So you've got the Shake It Off cheerleader costume, you've got Reputation black leotard, you have the red Greatest Showman looking bit. Anyway, it was really cool.
Did Red come out before Greatest Showman? It did.
Yeah,
right?
it did.
Long before.
But anyway, it was...
Also, Greatest Showman did not invent the circus.
No,
person.
it did not. It was really cool. So, all the different eras are in these boxes, and Taylor went up to each one and like interacted with them, but they're stuck in the boxes
as if like a mime.
Yeah,
is stuck in their
and
box.
they were like banging on it, like, Taylor, help me, like, let me out. I mean, obviously you couldn't hear them, but like you could see them like pleading. At one point I laughed because Taylor, right on the beat, like hits with her fist one of the boxes to her side. She's not like looking at it, but she just hits it right where the 1989 cheerleader's butt is, and she hits it, and the cheerleader like, oh, like she just got hit. And it was really funny and perfectly timed too. But anyway, so she's interacting with all these boxes, and I don't remember what happens between her interacting with them and the end, but somehow...
So eventually, there are stagehands that are moving around these boxes on wheels, and Taylor steps out into the center stage, and eventually these other Taylors get out somehow, and all run down towards
center stage.
Real Taylor.
Yeah. If you have seen the Look What You Made Me Do music video, you know that towards the end of the bridge, you've got two shots going on. There's the her doing the, sorry, the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now, but
She's
then
dead.
There's also Taylor standing on top of a mountain of all the other Taylors, and so it's just all the Taylors with all these classic outfits clawing their way to the top of this mountain of Taylors, pushing people down. I mean, they're all Taylor, but like pushing others down, trying to get to the top.
Yeah.
So what they did here is they brought up the stage so that Taylor was standing on a higher level.
Yeah.
And then all the other Taylors came around her and were like
trying to
recreating that
moment of trying to reach up to her and get up to her.
Exactly. And it was so good. And what I loved is her dancers weren't like all like cookie cutter, like, you know, like the classic skinny white girl.
The kick line.
She had diversity, like ethnically. She had different body sizes,
gender types,
and gender types, and it didn't affect the way that they were costumed.
It was really cool.
It was really cool. It was so well done. It was very artistic.
Yeah.
And inspired, and I enjoyed it.
I liked the boxes.
I did too. I do want to say I really liked on her Reputation tour when Taylor gets to the part where she goes, the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead. The whole stadium actually goes black, and the screen lights up, and the phone rings. And you see on screen Tiffany Haddish walk on, and she answers the phone, and she says that bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of random. I don't really know why that was chosen. And I've never really liked it. I'm sorry. I feel like a bad fan.
Well,
but
no, you don't. You can say that you didn't like it.
I didn't like it. But I loved that.
I mean, I don't like that line at all.
Which breaks my heart. But anyway, I loved that she said it, and our performance, it was really well done. But she just said it. I mean, because she's dead. I loved that she did that bit because it's her bit. Yeah. It's her. Anyway, I'm ready to debate that line when we get to it. But
okay.
Anyway, Taylor leaves the stage. I remember that I was unsure of what was coming next. I was not certain until the music started for the song.
I can't recall what the
Transition
the
was.
transition was.
I
I think it
don't
was
know.
just kind of dark and it had more of the echoey,
yeah.
music-y stuff.
I don't remember. But when the lights do come up, it's very sparkly. It's like a rose gold vibe going on. And the garage door thing in the back. It doesn't look like a garage door. It looks like it's part of the screen.
Yeah, but it rises like a garage door.
The garage door thing rises. And Taylor is in this beautiful, huge ball gown.
Like, it would rival Cinderella. Like, huge.
And it is gorgeous. It's like I think it's rose gold, if I'm not mistaken. And it's sparkly, and she looks like a goddess.
And she just walks out slowly.
And it's Enchanted. She's singing Enchanted, which I love. Enchanted.
We got this one recorded.
We only got 45 seconds of it, but honestly,
well, 'cause
I don't need any more than that.
You wanted me to record it, and then you said, you can stop now.
Yeah, because I was thinking back to the Billie Eilish concert. I would record whole songs, but then I only ever watched like maybe a minute worth of each.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't need to record every single second of every single song. I have watched every single second that we have recorded.
Yeah.
But Enchanted was gorgeous. It just made me so excited for Speak Now Taylor's version because her voice was so just pristine and smooth, silky, and it just made me want to like fall in love 1,010,000 times. Like
It was strange though, because this was the only song that she did from Speak Now.
For some reason, Speak Now in my mind, until Folklore, I have always thought that Speak Now was her baby. Like, this was the album that she loved and cherished.
Yeah.
And maybe I was mistaken.
Well, and maybe it's also one of the older ones and she's not showing that stuff.
It might be that I thought that she loved it so much because she wrote that album entirely by herself.
Yeah.
Because she was trying to prove a point. And so I must have just assumed that, unless that was the case. But anyway, it was just strange because she came out, she sang this song, and then she left. And I wasn't upset, but I was like, whoa.
That was just, and it's not that I was like, oh, she doesn't care about it. It's that for Lover, her first era, she did 6 songs. And then for Fearless, she did 3. And then for Evermore, she did 5 songs, and then after that, Reputation, she did 4, and
so it was just strange, that she only did the 1.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was kind of strange, but I wasn't upset because if I'm being 100% honest, I don't not enjoy Speak Now, but I really only have 2 songs that I listen to regularly. Really, only this one, unless I'm like feeling the other one. And so I wasn't mad that this was the only one, but I just was confused.
And Speak Now is her third. That's her third. So Fearless was her second. And she did 3 from it. Well, and my theory that it's too old is gone.
Well, I will say that Enchanted was like the song from Speak Now.
Yeah.
And Fearless was the song from Fearless, obviously. But then Love Story and You Belong With Me were chart toppers.
Oh, okay.
So that might have been why Speak Now really didn't have that kind of reception. So it might have just been something to do with that. But it was still strange when she left. Everyone was kind of like, that's it? Anyway,
they were chill.
Yeah.
They were chill. We were chill.
Yeah. I do want to say, I quoted Enchanted on my Instagram post. My original caption is, or like the first lines are, this night is flawless, don't you let it go, I'm wonderstruck, dancing round all alone. And then I have my whole little bit explaining yada yada, the whole concert and how I'm obsessed. And then at the end, I thank Taylor, I tell her I love her, and I say, I'll spend forever wondering if you knew I was enchanted to see you. And I'm really proud of that.
Great.
Because normally I was enchanted to meet you. But I said,
But you
enchanted
only
to
saw her.
see you.
I was enchanted to hear you.
And I thought it was so clever. And when I wrote it, I cried.
Oh, wow.
I cry. I've been crying all week about Taylor. I mean, I cry about Taylor every once in a while, but this week, everything. I cried while you were gone because I was watching Miss Americana.
Oh,
and I
okay.
was like, oh, Taylor.
Well, you sent me was it a Marco Polo where you were like, it starts and you're just
I'm
like
going to plug in the
bawling.
audio for this.
Okay. I'm just thinking about Taylor Swift.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I was weeping again. I wept for so long too.
This really moved you.
So that was the first 5 eras.
19 songs.
19 songs, and we still have 5 eras to go
Yeah.
and a significant amount of songs.
Hopefully
but-
it'll go quicker because we're not talking about how our car broke down.
No, yeah, but
Well, normally we would go into our grading, but we're gonna save that for the
for
very
next
end.
week, yeah, we'll do an overall grading of the whole thing. I'm not sure how we'll do that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But before we go, I do want for each of us to give a suggestion of a song and a film.
Yeah.
So do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So my song. So it's called "And Her Mother Came Too," and please don't think anything wrong.
This is a really funny song.
It's a funny song. So the version that I'm talking about, the full title is called Novello, and then a hyphen, and Her Mother Came Too. It was on the soundtrack for Gosford Park, but it's this, I don't know how to describe it. It's not a folk song, but it's like a bar, not a bar song, but like, I don't know. How would you describe
It's
it?
the kind of song that you would hear a stand-up comedian that like does musical
Yeah.
comedy. That's the kind of vibe.
It's only like a minute and a half, a minute and 50 seconds. That's basically 2 minutes. Never mind. But it's funny. It's about a man who's trying to court a lady, but her mom just will not leave them alone.
It's really funny.
It's really funny. All right, so that's my song, and then my film is a movie that I watched on a whim recently.
Okay.
It is called Catherine Called Birdie.
Okay.
Catherine spelled with a C, called Birdie. Catherine Called Birdie. Birdie is this 14-year-old girl who is approaching womanhood, and she's about to be married off and whatnot, and she does not want to be married. She does not want to, it's I think it's wonderful. Anyways, but there's Bella Ramsey, there's Andrew Scott, which you would know from Sherlock. He was Moriarty. There's Billie Piper from season 1 of Doctor Who. This is the first thing I've seen her in since then. But I didn't realize this until the credits. Joe Alwyn is in the movie.
Really?
As Uncle George. But he comes back from the Crusades, and he's just wonderful. And I enjoyed his acting before I realized that it was Joe Alwyn, Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
That's crazy.
And he's great. He's definitely not Laith Ashley, but
oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you guys during Tolerate It.
we thought it was Laith, and I wanted it to be.
I
Laith.
didn't think it was Laith.
I thought it was Laith.
But Daniel goes, who is this guy? Bring out Laith.
Yep.
It was funny.
Anywho, that's Catherine Called Birdie. It's great. It is very much set in medieval times and has that kind of verbiage, but it is the way that it's presented. I don't know how to describe it. It's very modern. It's great. What are yours?
My song, I feel like this is not the best suggestion, but it's literally the only thing I've listened to for the last 4 days. It's All the Girls You Loved Before by Taylor Swift.
Are you really suggesting a Taylor Swift song on a podcast that has been all Taylor Swift?
I literally am. It's a brand new song. I mean, it's quote unquote from the vault for Lover, but she just released it last week, 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't vibe with it a ton when it came out, and I listened to it and I was like, okay, it's something. But then just like yesterday and the last few days, I literally have had that song on repeat, and that's all I've listened to. So I genuinely can't think of anything else to suggest, because that's been my entire listening history. But it's really good. It's giving Midnights. It's giving belts. She belts.
Oh, okay.
She gives vocals.
She's not giving belts
vibes
to people, but like she's belting.
She's giving vocals and vibes in this one. My film suggestion is Miss Americana. It is the Taylor Swift documentary. And listen, I know that that's so much Taylor Swift.
Yeah, hey.
But this is my whole life
a Taylor
lately.
Swift podcast, and so here, listen to a Taylor Swift song that you definitely haven't heard before, and also a documentary about Taylor Swift, which many of you
probably have seen.
Yeah.
But listen, this has been my whole life lately. My suggestion originally was going to be The Hunger Games, because I tried to watch that today, and apparently it got taken off of Netflix today. So, So I will be suggesting Miss Americana, because it's more likely that you haven't seen that.
Hey, how about you watch this little thing called
this really underground movie called The Hunger Games? No. So Miss Americana, if you haven't seen it, it's really fun. It's filmed while she's writing Lover and while she's on tour for Reputation. So you kind of get to see behind the scenes of both of those, and then you get to kind of see some conversation stuff about topics that Taylor doesn't normally talk about. So it's really fun to listen to and watch.
I was overhearing some of what of the documentary, and it was really very honest, I think.
Oh yeah, it is. I love that documentary. It makes me cry every time, and it just really gives you a look into kind of Taylor's mind. So that's my suggestion. Any last thoughts on this half of the Eras tour?
Before we were going there, I was like, people are spending thousands of dollars to go see this, or like we sat in basically the nosebleeds, and we paid $450 a ticket, and while I still think that that's way too much money, I understand why people would be willing to spend it.
Yeah. I'm really glad that we had nosebleeds, because I've seen videos of people on the floor.
And it's not as good?
It doesn't seem like that good of a show. Like, it's amazing. You're close to Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that that's not great, but
having
seems like
a look down on her.
Yeah, you're not getting the floor effects. You're not seeing the whole stage.
I think that if we were near the far touchdown field goal area, that would have been the perfect spot.
I agree. I loved it. It was literally the highest moment of my life. I've never cried harder, except for maybe twice in my life. It was surreal, and I'm excited to talk about the second half.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week
that'll be it for this week.
Yeah.
Next we're gonna start off with song number 20, which is what song is that?
We're going into the Red era.
Red.
So yeah, so we'll finish off the Eras tour next week and give our scores, whatever scores those may be. But that's it for this week. Be sure to check us out on social media. We are OSOF Podcast on all platforms. You can check out our website through the link in our bios on any of those medias, or
email us at oursongsourfilms@gmail.com.
Be sure to give our podcast a rating. That will make whatever platform you're listening on give us a boost and show
it'll get pushed
a little bit more
forward in search results, and who knows, if we get huge enough, maybe we'll just be on like the Discover pages of like the newest, biggest podcast.
Give us a rating. Let us know what you think.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I'm Daniel Francis.
And I'm Katie Ludlow, and this has been Our Songs,
Our Films.